I'm Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. Sunbury Shores Arts and Nature Center is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. To tell us all about it and the events they have planned is their executive director, Sara Brinkhurst. Thank you, Sara, so much for coming in to sit down with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I was lucky enough to attend the swinging 60s party you had at the Huntsman to really kick things off this year.
It was a blast, yeah.
And everyone was in full costume. It was quite fantastic. I was
absolutely amazed at how many people had made the effort and looked so great. It really was a fun event. We had a great time. I think everybody else had a pretty good time too, yeah.
Well, at the time that we are filming this, you're about to launch now the 60th anniversary exhibition. This starts September 6th, goes to the 28th at Sunbury Shores. Tell us about what will be in this exhibition. It's quite exciting, 6 decades of Sunbury Shores.
It's a lot. It's a big show. This started before I came back. Caroline Walker, who's our artistic director, had this vision for pulling together a representation of our history over the 60 years. So she, huge undertaking, contacted I don't know how many people to locate artists and instructors who've been with us over the years. To bring in artwork for this exhibition. So some of it's for sale, some of it isn't, and we have all kinds of names that people will recognize. I'm not going to start trying to name names because there's so many and then I'll miss somebody crucial and I don't want to upset anybody. So you have to come in and see it for yourself, basically. But we were hoping to get 60 artists for the 60th, and I think we've ended up with well over 100. So it's been fantastic. Yeah, it's a great looking show.
For people, I always assume everyone knows Sunbury Shores, but for those who might be watching from further away, how do you describe Sunbury Shores Arts and Nature Center? Because it is really both art and nature combined.
It's a good question. Well, it was founded by Dorothy Eidlitz back in 1964, and she had spent quite a few years in Japan and had studied Zen Buddhism while she was out there, and really the understanding of how nature and our human role in nature are so intertwined. And she came back and with this idea of setting up a center that spoke to that. So originally there was certainly more nature content in terms of bird watching and beach walks and things than there is now. But even so, through the years, all the artwork that comes and goes and happens through Sunbury Shores is really based on observations of nature, experiences in nature, the two-way flow. You can't separate art and nature. It's, art is in nature and nature is always in art. So that's we're still carrying on that vision, really. Yeah. And then we provide classes for all age groups, local schools, Charlotte County, and we have all kinds of instructors who've come in over the years to instruct, from amateur to professional artists. We have exhibitions regularly through the year, and we have studios that are available to use. So we've got ceramics, print, general studio, metal studio, and now we have a pretty fancy high-tech tech studio for filmmaking and things like that. So yeah, here to support the community, and yeah, anybody who wants to come in and do something creative.
It really is a fabulous location in the sense that it's on Water Street. You have the front gallery and the Bayview Gallery, but also it feels like nature is the other gallery, because if you keep walking out, there's a huge window and balcony right onto the bay.
Yeah, and we have a little garden back there as well, which wonderful place to sit and just do some plein air or write poetry or any kind of creative, process that you enjoy. It's a great spot to do it, and people are welcome anytime. So yeah.
Now, Ms. Dorothy, who founded Sunbury Shores, she was a New Yorker. She summered here?
Yes, she had property out on Pottery Creek, and I don't know exactly what brought her here, but she found like-minded people, and together they got together and started the concept of Sunbury Shores. So so it's Yeah, and I think as far as I know, she was here most summers for a long time, and that dream was so well founded. We're still going.
I always love learning of interesting women who've been a part of creating what's special about our community. There are so many for such a small place.
Yeah, well, she was, I think, really more interesting. We have a talk tomorrow, Thursday, at 4 o'clock, which is actually being hosted at the Huntsman Marine Sciences Centre in the auditorium there. Anne Thomas, who is the current curator of, I'm going to get it wrong, I know, sorry. Yeah, she's the curator of the National Gallery, has done a lot of research on Mrs. Eidlitz over the years. She was a great photographer and feminist and activist and all kinds of interests. So it's an illustrated talk that's happening. So we're going to learn a bit more about her personal life and backstory, which I'm really looking forward to.
When she began Sunbury Shores, 1964, how do you think she thought it would evolve in the community? Because it is really amazing when you think that so many of us, it's been there our whole lives.
Well, it has, and you know, we know like third generation that are now involved, you know, little ones this big whose parents came and then their parents were involved. So we are an institution. It's a good question because, I mean, obviously the world is so changed now from how it was back then. And that's part of what we're doing at the moment is trying to reevaluate our place and our relevance and make sure that, you know, we can speak to the next 60 years and still be what the community needs. You know, all through the COVID pandemic, it became very obvious that creative pursuits were really important for people. To find that kind of creative outlet was very, very helpful for mental wellness. And that's really a big issue now. I think a lot of people still feel very, very anxious about, you know, world environment and politics and so many things that are so scary now, that to be able to take some time out and do something creative and constructive is really important. So we really need to kind of have a good, strong look at that and make sure that we can provide that help for, you know, all kinds of people. Yeah.
I lived away from home for so long that when I moved back, I realized being in St. Andrews, you have this permission to be creative that you don't always have everywhere. But Sunbury Shores does play a huge role in that because it's more than just a gallery, and it's amazing how many people in the community are involved with it on so many different levels, or the type of events that you do. It's not just art. No,
we have music and writing and book launches and all kinds of things. You know, we've had fashion show, we've had so many different kinds of experiences there, and that's what we really enjoy, is being open to that kind of thing. If somebody comes in with an idea that, you know, that they want to try something or do something, we'd love to talk to them about it. I mean, that's what we're there for. We are a community cultural center, so that's our job.
So part of the exhibition of the 60th anniversary will feature some multimedia elements and I believe recordings of some of the people that have been a part of Sunbury Shores. Yeah, Can you tell us about that and how Dawson from your team is involved?
Yes, Dawson. Oh, he's been great. We've had him with us for the summer seed program. That's has been great. And he's been in charge of putting together a series of vignettes of reminiscences of people who've been involved with Sunbury Shores for the last 60 years. So we've actually got a couple of people who were employed by Mrs. Eidlitz way back, the first naturalist that was there, the first director. We've had so many people who've been involved since, to do with the big renovation project that happened. Just so many activities, and we've got a really nice selection of people who've been involved over the years. They're little sort of 3-minute vignettes of their reminiscences and thoughts, all put together on a video, and it's really interesting. And Dawson's done a fantastic job on that. It's really hard work. Very hard work, editing all that information and pulling it together in a way that makes sense is a big job. He did it beautifully. So,
when I think back on moving
Yeah.
home, I think some of my first friends that I made moving back were through Sunbury Shores. People like
Yeah.
Frankie Reamer, Mabel Ketchum.
Yeah.
It is a very special place for so many in the
Yeah.
community. How do you hope it evolves in the years going ahead? With so many of us, different generations having a connection to it, where do you see it going down the road?
Yeah, that's the challenge. Because people do have different expectations now and different needs. I think we are looking at more options for online study, partly to keep things kind of more affordable, because that's also a big issue for people. And we're trying to broaden the scope of the kind of classes that we offer, experiences, and in just different mediums and different practices and things like that. So trying to get back to doing some more professional development work with art students and artists to help them with their profession. Students, if they want to go on to university, if they want to go on to art studies in further education, helping put together portfolios and things like that. And different forms of showing art, more digital, more film. It's a big world out there, so we've got a lot to explore. And that's why it's so great when we have like the students in, because they can give us a different perspective from the older generation, like me.
Can you speak a little bit to the work you do with students in Charlotte County? Oh,
well, for quite a lot of years now. I was trying to think how many years, and I think it must be at least 20, probably more. We've been offering the class program to our two immediate local schools, SJDA and Vincent Massey. So we provide arts education from basically kindergarten to grade 12. I think it's grade 10 that doesn't have it in the curriculum, but everybody else we have through the doors at some point, or we go to them. So that's really a big part of what we do, which is not very visible, but that's been a solid part of our mandate. We've expanded that over the last few years to include classes Milltown, St. Stephen, St. George, Blacks Harbour, Deer Island, and now we're, this coming year, our goal is to extend an after-school arts programming to every elementary school in Charlotte County. So that includes Campobello, Deer Island, Grand Manan, that's like up to Lawrencetown, the whole shebang. So it's a big project, but we're started on it, and we're really positive about being able to deliver that in this coming year. So, and hopefully ongoingly, once we can get it set up, it'll, it's got a lot of potential. So.
What feedback do you get from students who, I can tell you that I have a painting from your work with students by Hobie Hahn, who painted my dog Maud for me, and it's hanging in our office here.
Yes.
What's the feedback that you hear from students when they're a part of something like this?
It's always, well, 99.9% of the time, I would say it's very positive. A lot of students have said that it's one of their favorite things that they've done in the school year, and they look forward to it. It's, some may not have ever really had that experience before, or some may have had a little bit but never known how to pursue it or where to go next. So just being able to provide the opportunity and the means for them to explore where they could go with it, I think is a big thing. Mm-hmm. And again, for people to be able to express themselves in their own way, there's no expectation of how they should be doing it. It's like, you need to say what you need to say, and it's a great way to do that. So, yeah.
I'm always curious how you go about curating exhibits, because you have some exceptional exhibits, and sometimes they are totally surprising. Yeah. There was one last year, a 3D Goodnight Moon Room that was just
fun.
Incredible. But I mean, I think you built the whole front gallery was a new set.
Matthew Robinai, who put that together, he was just in town actually on Sunday. We just met up with him. So yeah, might be going to the rooms next. So it went to the Beaverbrook. We were first. Then it went to the Beaverbrook. It could be going to the rooms in Newfoundland. So fingers crossed. So.
And I guess that's what I mean by that, is that often the idea comes here, and that's where it comes to life. And it really is, when you go to any of your exhibits, you could be in any city in the world, they're that well done and well attended. How long does it take to plan these, and where do you get inspired?
Well, it's a combination of things. We put calls out to artists to see who's out there looking for space to show, and they submit their work and their vision, and there needs to be a story, like where has this come from, and what is it doing, and that it can't, we don't. It's fine to have just a collection of nice pictures, but it's really much more interesting if there is a whole, a load of thinking behind it. And that's some of the things. Some of those shows are then juried so that they're selected by a panel to get a good unbiased selection. There are other shows that are community based. The CMHA will be in again this year, and we look forward to having them. That just started as a kind of random, what if, and it's been really exciting to see how that's developed over the last few years. So that kind of thing is great. And we're open to other things that come along. Sometimes there's just opportunities that pop up and you think, that would be fun. Let's try that. So it's a whole, number of different elements that come together, and trying to kind of, speak to a wide audience as well.
I think everyone looks forward to Deck the Walls around holiday time, because it is a great way to get Christmas presents. That's something unique and also made by, chances are, a local artist. Yeah,
mostly local, or certainly, close regional. And that's the thing, you're supporting somebody who's actually done it themselves. It's a one-off, that's it. It's special, it's unique. It's not been shipped over from, a whole other country somewhere. And we will be doing that again this year. Calls have gone out for that, started already. We might have to try and contain it a little more. It gets bigger every year. We've got limited amount of space, so unless we start, putting up umbrellas in the garden. Anyway, we'll see, but it's always fun. Yeah, that'll be towards the end of November,
And on that topic of support, nothing exists in a bubble. You are a nonprofit, and I think there are wonderful ways that you can support Sunbury Shores. Can you tell us a little bit about ones that happen all the time, and also maybe an opportunity at this moment for your anniversary?
Yeah, we have some amazing regular supporters who year after year recognize the work that we do and are happy to support us to keep doing it. We're so grateful to those people. They trust us, and they just know we're going to put it to good use. Of course, we're always on the search for new people who need to get to know what we do. So we're very happy to talk to anybody if they want to know more, if they want to get a little more invested and interested. And then every now and again, a special thing will pop up, which we're super excited at the moment. We're launching it tomorrow. Robert and Bessie Bartlett have the Paradox Foundation, and they came up with this brilliant idea. They have offered us $30,000 in match funding if we can raise the match in the next 30 days over the 60th anniversary show. Then potentially we have $60,000 for our 60th anniversary, which would be incredible. So we're just about to launch that to see if we can find people who will help us out with that, because it's such a kind offer. It just came out of nowhere, and we were just like, oh my God, we're so lucky to have people like that who understand. It's amazing.
So that means
Yeah.
they're launching it September 5th. So if anyone's
Yeah.
watching this after that date,
Yes.
so October 5th
Yeah,
would be
roughly, yeah.
when
yeah,
you have
back
to
then.
come up with
Yeah.
30,000. No problem.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, right? Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
most looking forward to on a personal note about the 60th anniversary year? What's been the most special?
I think it's just really fun. For me personally, I did a class at Sunbury Shores in 1975 when I was 15. And actually Kathy Ross was in my class. Obviously she went on successfully to become an artist. I lost my way, but
Says the executive director of Sunbury Shores.
well, so it's just really fun to see that circle. Life is always a spiral, and I love times when that happens so clearly and so elegantly as it sort of has. So just seeing those names, people that I knew from back then. I was a summer student there for a couple of years, and so just there's people that I knew from then, and then seeing the ones before, and the ones in the middle, and then the ones that come after, and just that whole flow, being part of that it's really quite special.
Mm-hmm.
It feels very special. And then, but we can't rest on that. It's like, that's a really solid base, but now we have the responsibility of moving on. So that's a fun challenge. Yeah.
I can't think of that many places though, like Sunbury Shore. I have memories of, I think I learned about whales there on a week-long whale class when I was maybe
wow.
8 years old, and
Yeah.
it's just been this staple
It
in
sticks.
my life.
Yeah, and it does.
For all the decades that I've
Yeah,
lived,
yeah.
and I really do look forward to
Yeah.
seeing what you do next. You always keep us on our toes.
Well, we try. Try to be interesting, try to be relevant.
What's the feedback you heard over the summer from visitors who might not be from our region and come across the gallery for the first time?
I think good. Often you hear people say, "Oh, I had no idea," sort of what you do here, or that you were even here, and they're pretty impressed when they come in and find out a bit more about how much we do in the community, and the facilities that we have there available. We've had a few more people this year. We've had some great people come in this summer to use the studios. You can just get like day pass or a week pass or a month pass. I mean, there's various options, and we've had some really interesting people coming in working through the summer, and the place has just been buzzing. It's been great having that vibe going on of so much activity, and then the artists they all talk to each other and then spark off each other, and it's really fun. So visitors come in and just get to be a little bit a part of that, and you can see that they're attracted to it. Mm-hmm. And we say, well, come back. Come back to St. Andrews, come back to us. It's like, this is a great place to be. It really is. We're so lucky.
And visitors tend to think of our town, and wrongly so, it's just a summer destination, but Sunbury Shores keeps things going.
Oh, yeah, very much. I mean, we're busy in the summer, but most of our core programming happens either side. Once we get into the school year, we're just starting in now, so that's all the next big thing that's going to keep us going for a while. And just, those ongoing exhibitions and events that we have, and there's other people, we've got space, I think, for somebody's coming in for Indulge again this year, and then those other kind of festivals like Paddle Fest in May and whatnot, they come and use the space and as a venue, and all those kind of activities as well that we're so happy to be able to support and just contribute to the broader spectrum of activity in the town, because it's a great place. There's so much going on. Yeah.
We have about a minute left, so
Okay.
I'm going to leave final words with you for
Uh-oh.
people who are watching at home. What do you hope that they come check out for the 60th anniversary?
Yeah, come and have a look at the exhibition. I know there'll be names you recognize there. Just find out a little more about us. If you don't know, just come in and spend some time, ask us, and have a look at the studios and see, maybe get inspired to take some classes or something like that this winter. And donations obviously are always welcome, but but really come and experience what we have to offer, because there's more than people realize, I think, a lot of time.
Yeah, it makes you feel like a kid again in the best way possible.
Yeah, in the fun way. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sara, for sitting down with me today.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing you at the exhibition.
Thank you. Yes, you must come. Come with the cameras.
My guest today has been Sara Brinkhurst, Executive Director of Sunbury Shores Arts and Nature in St. Andrews. They will be having their 60th anniversary exhibit on until September 28th. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.